What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and we got a very special video today. We're going to be talking about some different drills that you guys can do to run insane routes. So we're going to be focused heavily on you guys changing direction at the top of the break, what gets you out of breaks faster, and how you can separate from a DB. So this video will give you guys a ton of value. We're going to be going over drills, different technique tips you can keep in mind, the works. But also, fellas, if you are a wide receiver and would like to train with us this offseason, we are going to be coming out to 15 more states across the country for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver camps. So check out that very first link in the description below if you guys would like some more information on how you can sign up for our camps. Again, we're going to be coming out to San Francisco, Miami, Las Vegas, then we're going to be heading out to Charlotte, North Carolina, Portland, Oregon, Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Chicago, Illinois, Buffalo, New York. Then we'll be coming out to Atlanta, Houston, Philly, Detroit, Boise, and Los Angeles. So again, fellas, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get to this video. All right, guys, so the focus of today, like we said, is going to be working on your guys' violent drop into breaks. How can we stop on a dime, decelerate on routes like a hitch route, a curl route, a comeback, a dig, anything where you guys have to drop your hips. So the same thing applies on a route where you have to drop your hips, on a route where you just have to cut off of a single foot. You need to make sure that you were always selling what? We were trying to make the DB think that we were running a fade. We want him to backpedal out of there, turn and run out of there, whatever the case may be. So when we do that and when we get that DB to open up his hips and run, we got to be able to change direction with little to no wasted time at the top of the break. So what we have to do is we need to have a violent change of direction, aka we got to be able to drop or change direction on a dime, at the drop of a dime, and it has to be fast. So to be able to do that, you need to have something called violent hips. So when you guys get into a break, we don't want to just sink my hips, right? The days of wide receiver coaches teaching wide receivers to beat the drum and sink their hips, hopefully those are over. That's a very old school way of teaching it and a very slow way of teaching it, right? There is a faster way to do things. When you watch all the best wide receivers change direction in the game, like Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, you're looking at guys like Jerry Jeudy who have insane change of direction, Garrett Wilson. What do they all have? They're very violent with the break points. So when I mean violent, I mean you were like trying to sit into a chair as violently as possible. So as this video goes on, we're going to be giving you some different drills that will work on that. That's going to help you develop that, because that is not developed overnight. Those guys have a body of work of years and years and years of repping out certain techniques, certain drills, and certain things that make them talented at that aspect of the game. So first things first, when you guys drop into a break, when we drop, we do not want to drop any lower than parallel. We want to be able to get to this 90-degree parallel position. Now, what that requires is that requires a lot of leg strength, right? Because a lot of receivers, they know to drop into a break, but when they drop, their butt goes below their knees, they sit super low, and they can't move. You have to get to that parallel position as fast as possible, but you got to maintain that parallel position. So leg strength ties into that. Doing any type of exercise in the gym for legs, squats, single leg squats, pistol squats, split squats, front squats, all those things apply to running routes and giving you a strong base. Now, another thing that you need to work on is your explosion, because if you're not an explosive athlete, right? Like, because there's two types of muscle fibers that athletes have. You have slow twitch fibers and fast twitch fibers. I think we all can agree that running like a comeback route involves a lot of fast twitch fibers. You have to drop violently, you have to drop quickly, and you're activating a lot of fast twitch fibers in your body. Maybe like a soccer player, that's more slow twitch because they're constantly jogging. So you got to do exercises that increase those fast twitch fibers. Like in the gym, box jumps. We're going to give you some drills as this video goes on for that. But doing box jumps, power cleans, hang cleans, any type of Olympic lift, all those things develop those fast twitch fibers, which make you a better player on the field. So we're going to give you some drills for that. We're going to give you some things to work on the mechanics of the hip drop, the foot strike importance. But I want to make sure that I tell you guys that, because this is not built overnight. It's consistent reps of doing the drills that we're going to give you and those things that we mentioned in the gym to get that violent change of direction. Now, first drill, like we mentioned, fellas, is going to work on your guys' explosion and fast twitch. So some of you might be on the younger side of things. Maybe you're not lifting in the gym yet. Some of you guys maybe not have access to a gym all the time. You know, maybe it's starting to get cold outside, so you don't get to be able to go to the field that often to work on these things. This is a great drill that you do not need any space for. You don't need any equipment. I just have this cone here for a landing point. You don't even need a cone, but this is just a simple drill that's going to work on your explosion and your drop. Now, another thing that I didn't mention in the intro of this video before we get into this drill is that when you drop into a break, that requires an insane amount of balance. Like, let's say, for example, I got to run a comeback around this cone and I break down. This is called the trigger step. The first step that gets you into a break is called the trigger step. You have to have balance at this 90-degree position to be able to make this sharp cut and get out. If we don't have balance, if we don't have stability, if we don't have strength, obviously if we don't have explosion, it's not going to go the way I need to. You need to do all of these things to build into that perfect hip drop. So this drill works on balance, and it also works on activating those fast twitch fibers. So you're going to start out, let's say the left leg is what we want to try to work on. On the right foot, you're going to have your hands above your head. all you're going to do is you're going to either give yourself a go call or your partner's going to give you a go call. And as quickly as you can, you're going to drop and you're going to try to touch the floor with your hands right next to your front foot. Notice how when I drop, I'm trying to keep my knee as straight as possible. I don't want to cave in. I want to try to keep my knee straight. And that quick drop, that quick level change, bringing your chest to your quad, is the same type of drop that we need to do when we're running an actual route. So when we do this drill, we were trying to throw down. We were trying to literally drop my hands and touch the ground as quickly as I can to build that explosion and to build that balance. So I'm going to show you how this drill is going to look full speed. All right, fellas, so this next drill we're going to be going over, I guess this should really call it like an exercise because it's not really a drill, but this is another thing that you can do if maybe you don't have access to a gym all the time. You know, for whatever reason, maybe you're not lifting as much. Maybe you don't have access to equipment to help you strengthen your legs. This is a body weight exercise that you guys can do to strengthen the exact same position that's going to get you into that hip drop. And it's called the simple lunge plank. So if you've never done a lunge plank before, from the outside looking in, it might seem like a very easy move, like, oh, what is that? Like, that's not even hard to do. Trust me on this. Do this after you do like a squat workout. Do this at the end of a leg workout. I promise you, if you hold it for longer than 30 to 45 seconds, your leg is going to be shaking. But literally, all you were doing is you're just getting into a lunge position. You're here, perfect 90, and you were just holding it. And you were trying to stay on this heel off the ground. Because when we break into a cut, we obviously need to have strength. We obviously need to have stability. We need to have balance, but it's got to be the right form. So a lot of guys, when they drop their hips into a break, they try to reach and they cut on their heel. And what causes that is when you cut on your heel, what that causes is your toe to slap down, leg can hyperextend. That puts a lot of unnecessary pressure on your knee. And when we're up top like this, we pop up, we slow down, and we lose speed. Whenever we cut, we want to strike the ground. It's okay if your whole foot gets down, but we want to try to stay on the ball of my foot first. That's what makes contact first. So when we do this lunge plank, keep your heel off the ground to promote strength in that exact position that we want to try to drop in. So again, I recommend 2 to 3 sets. Depending on when you do this in your workout, you could do 4 sets of 45 seconds on each leg. 45 to a minute if you feel like you're more advanced. But again, you're here, heel off the ground, and just hold this. I promise you, you get to 25 seconds, you are going to start shaking. Fight through it. You're strengthening the exact position that we were trying to get to when I get to the top of that break. So a lunge plank, one of the best exercises to improve the strength in your lower body to get you into cuts. All right, guys, so these next 2 drills you're going to be doing kind of build off of each other. So this is kind of like 2 drills packaged into one, but it's going to work on pretty much your guys' like hip drop in an actual like route running scenario, if you will. We're not actually running a route. This is a drill that's going to be working on stability and balance in your lower body, correct form, and you guys obviously dropping your hips to slow you down. The whole purpose of us dropping my hips violently is that's a way to decelerate without giving the route away. A lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll run full speed, then they start to chop their feet, slow down, and that gives away the route to the defender. He knows when the break is coming because he feels that change in speed. Our hips dropping us doesn't give him time to react. So this drill is going to be called a high knee hip drop. You just need 2 cones, evenly spaced out about 5 yards apart. This is great for people who are in like colder weather areas that are watching this because again, it's starting to snow, fields are not the best conditions to be outside. Doing this in your room, your living room, your backyard, your garage, whatever it is, it does not take a lot of space and you can still get better at these things. So 5 yards apart, all you're doing is we're just going to come out, set, go. We're going fast hands, fast feet, doing normal high knees. As soon as you see this cone out of your peripherals, you're not looking at it, out of your peripherals, you're going to give a violent drop and hold that 90-degree position. Then you're going to pop up, face the other way, go back to this cone, drop again, right at that cone. So that's the first part of this drill sequence. Then, this next one, this requires some space. So this is why I wanted to show this one first and rather than just show the second variation of this drill, because if you don't have space, if you're in that colder weather area, you can't really do this one, but it's still good to know because when you actually get out to a field or maybe an indoor facility, you could absolutely do this one. This one builds off the high knee drop. Now it's a run and drop. So what you would do is you would take this starting point cone, you would move it back, like let's say maybe 30 yards, and all you would do is you would run full speed. Now, full stride, full speed, full everything. You see this cone at your peripherals, you would drop. You don't have to take 2 steps like the high knee one. You can take 5, 6 steps. I'll show you how to look full speed, but it's a way to progress. The high knee drop works on the stability. The full speed run and drop works on exactly how I'd want to drop my hips when I'm running a route 12, 15 yards downfield. So I'm going to show you how both of these are going to look full speed. Great additions to your daily route running routine. All right, fellas, really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate. Leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you'd like to train with us, coming out to 15 different cities across the country, all the way from Miami, Florida, San Francisco, all over the place, you guys. I'm sure we're coming to a city near you, and we'd love to have you out to one of our camps. So check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you there again. I'll see you guys next time.